She was one 5-foot woman in a silver spandex suit with the entire stadium to herself.
Which is kind of beautiful. I mean, I would love the opportunity.
Well, that'll be a category at the Fat Olympics.
Just it's called commanding the space. I'm CJ.
And I'm Lou.
And this is Speculating Wildly.
Your number one source for completely accurate opinion-based news.
Lou, I could not be more excited to be here with you today.
I'm truly shaking out of my skin, which is a phrase everyone says all the time.
It's an honor to be here with you today. And if I may, to start us off, I would like to invite you to speak on the look that you're rocking today.
Thank you so much for noticing that I'm dressed special. I'm dressed special in honor of the 2026 Winter Olympics. And I'm going to say, like, look here, this is a picture of the people who presented the countries yesterday. And that's undeniable fashion to me, so I'm honoring them.
As we all should. I couldn't find that in my wardrobe, so I'm sort of dressed like your dad who's watching the Olympics as a reason to start drinking at 10 a.m. Mm-hmm. That's sort of what I'm going for.
I'm really loving it. I'm really locked in. And also those people haunted you. So I would hate for you to dress like someone who haunts you.
I'm going to have so much to say about the fashion of this year's Olympics. And in case you haven't guessed it, that's what we came here to talk about today, is the Olympics. Because there's a lot to unpack.
So much more than I could have ever imagined.
I think this is an amazing time for me to step in and say everything we say in our podcast is alleged. We are two dumb women saying dumb things in the most powerful and intelligent way possible. The first instance of this is us not realizing we missed a good 45 minutes of the opening ceremonies. We just thought we magically caught the beginning. So if you're like, wow, you're missing some really big parts, that's so true. And amazing job catching that.
Okay, so this podcast episode is actually years in the making. I could not find the tweet. I had tweeted years and years ago, what are the aliens doing every 4 years that we need to cover up with the Olympics?
Yes.
Haha, hee hee, so funny. Then I grew up and I became actually conspiratorial, unfortunately. And what I saw yesterday was such a display that
just validation.
Really validated everything that I have ever thought about everything in life.
Yeah.
And it's just nice to know that I'm right. What we thought would be like an overview of like the entirety of the Olympics has turned into a really micro-focused what the hell happened yesterday.
Just the opening ceremonies, it changed me. I have so many questions and I am afraid of the answers. I'm afraid. Yeah, it really was frightening. So before we sort of delve into the dark magic that we saw being performed on a global stage yesterday, I would like to learn a little bit more about, if you were in the Olympics, sort of what would you like to be known for? Mm-hmm. What winter and summer sport would you pick to play? For summer, okay, I do believe that ribbon dancing is a thing. And come on.
I mean,
sort of.
You say less.
Yeah. But also, Ray Gun is sort of the famous breakdancer from the last Summer Olympics.
Is their name in all honestly, is their name really Ray Gun?
I think that she's being like America's next best dance crew style, and that's her sort of breakdancing name. Oh. I don't want to know. If it's her government name, that's beautiful.
Ray Gun. That's okay. So you would sort of like to be a ribbon dancer, break dancer. I can see either for you so clearly in my mind's eye.
And I think I could incorporate one with the other. So whatever I qualify for, I'll just make sure that it works.
And it seems like it would be so scary, but so fun. I'd like to do the luge in the Winter Olympics.
I was also thinking luge. However, I am sort of moved by hockey in this moment, like a lot of us are feeling, due to the heated rivalry of it all. But I would want to be a boy who played hockey. I wouldn't want to like be me playing hockey. I'd want to be the boy version of me doing hockey.
Do you know? And I'm not asking you to have knowledge.
Never ask me that. Never. Don't make that mistake.
What position would you want to play?
Oh, sure. So all of the hockey positions I know, and I want to be Diamondback.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay. And so it's such a crucial role. Sorry.
Yeah, you can't play hockey without the Diamondback.
Without the Diamondback?
So boy CJ is being the Diamondback on the... I don't want to represent the U.S. though. Can I say that?
You can say that. I think I'm saying that too. I'd like to represent Finland, maybe.
Is that where your country of origin is?
No, I guess that'd be Ireland.
Right. I think
which is fine too.
That'd be great, honestly. I mean, anything's better. Well, not anything, but most places are better.
Yeah.
Than this one. So if I had to base it on my genealogy, well, if you're gonna go Ireland, I'll go Ireland too, so we don't have to compete against each other. We can sort of be on the same team.
That's really nice. But if you were Italy, you would be sort of the star of the show this year.
That's true. I'd sort of be having my moment.
Yeah.
Boy CJ on the hockey team.
Boy Italian CJ.
God, boy Italian CJ is so hot. I have a crush on this version of myself. Is that incest?
No. Good. It's the gay thing of you're going to date someone who looks exactly like you.
Wow.
It's inevitable.
Okay, and that is a gay thing because that has never happened to me. I've only dated men who look like...
Ghosts. Victorian
ones.
Ghosts come a Victorian. Okay, what about summer?
And for summer, I obviously want to be like a cunty little gymnast, you know?
Yeah.
I would like to have the exact body I have right now and be a cunty little gymnast. Sort of just like big apron belly, just really featured in my little leotard. Just big boobs flapping around while I'm flipping.
Yeah.
That's what I want.
Yesterday, I spent so much time going, I think I want to be the first fat Olympian. I was like, everyone here is so skinny.
Yeah. Well, I also had the thought yesterday about a fat Olympics. So what would you put into the fat Olympics?
Okay, well, you said fat Olympics. I said first fat Olympian, but now the wheels are turning, and I'm like, so we started a fat Olympics.
Exactly. Yeah, that's what's going to come out of us today. The invention of the fat Olympics.
There was a season of Amazing Race, and maybe more than one, where one of the challenges was they had to sumo wrestle. A sumo wrestler.
That should be illegal.
No, it was amazing. Wow. These men are so strong, and also you think you know how big they are until a normal-ass person wrestles them.
That's beautiful. I've never... Amazing. See, okay, so sumo wrestling... Would you put that in the Fat Olympics?
Yeah.
Okay, so we're
number one sport.
Because that's not in the regular Olympics. Also, what we can call the skinny Olympics, okay?
Yeah, let's call it the freaking skinny Olympics, man.
Come on. Okay.
Embarrassing.
I would sort of like to add billiards to the Fat Olympics.
Dude. Okay. I also like treading water.
I think softball
belly
has to
flops,
be in there.
Actually.
Cut what I said.
Amazing at the same time. No.
No. Belly flops in the Fat Olympics is the most genius idea I've ever heard come out of your sweet little angel face.
Think of what could happen. Think of the possibility.
Tsunamis. That's how you win. That's how you get a perfect end.
God, but like how fat could the Fat Olympics get? Oh, okay, I'm creating a fantasy world.
It's good. I want to live in that with you. I want to live in the Fat Olympics.
Billiard is also huge, though. And then you said, did you say softball?
I said softball kind of just has to be in there.
Well, because there's going to be a bunch of
lesbians.
And they're going to be the best in the biz. Undeniably.
That's just the way it is.
Oh, boy. Okay, that's huge.
Literally.
Did you say your summer sport? And we got caught up in the Fat Olympics.
I said I wanted to be fat and do gymnastics.
Oh, yeah, dude. Okay, because also I just watched Stick It, and everyone should watch Stick It. Because
especially
if you
if you
remember
wanna
being
turn
good,
gay.
it's still just good. And if you want to turn gay and sort of be like not like other girls. One of the biggest takeaways is that she graffitied all of her dressers.
That movie is like so a peak of its time. Yeah. What does she do? She like gets off the balance beam and then is like,
okay, well, the first like 20 minutes is the coach being like, we're proper, we're prim, we're wearing spandex. And she's like, me, big camo shorts, big Ed Hardy shirt, crazy bun. And I'm gonna let my freak arms fly. I'm not gonna be poised at all. So she's just like running and doing dumb stuff. And then she has to like sort of tuck her tail between her legs and be like, I want to be controlled. No, not like that. I made it weird. I made it weird, so.
you made it sexy.
Well, and it
No.
is. Except for it's Jeff Bridges and like an 18-year-old girl. Jeff Bridges? For sure.
Wait, is it Jeff Bridges? I'm also conflating him with the guy who plays the dad in Roseanne, who is
Okay,
not.
exactly. They are the same, but they're not.
But
John,
they're not.
John Bridges and Jeff Bridges. They're brothers. Okay, let's see. Jeff Bridges. Because I also think Jeff Bridges wrote Stick It.
Wait,
Which is
no.
awful for this.
There's no way that the dude from that movie, the Dude movie, which has Jeff Bridges and his brother in it.
Is Jeff Bridges and his brother in Big Lebowski?
Thank you. Yeah. I think that's Jeff Bridges. I know the other guy's in it. I know that the
Jeff
dad
Bridges is the Big Lebowski because I've never seen the Big Lebowski, but that's his name, right?
Oh, yeah. You should.
And his brother, John Goodman, plays Walter
Goodman!
Sobchak.
Tell me that name again.
And Steve Buscemi. And Julianne Moore. Woo! I'm going to watch this movie. Okay.
You should. It's good.
Walter Sobchak?
Beautiful.
Does that help at all?
Speaking of the Big Lebowski, the perfect addition to Fat Olympics, bowling.
Bowling. Yeah. Oof. I mean, here's the thing. Any sport in the Fat Olympics is going to be amazing.
Yeah. It's going to be... The way that I'm staring off into the
Dodgeball?
distance and... Dodgeball. I'm so in love with this concept. I'm like living in such a bright, happy fantasy world in my brain right now.
Yeah,
I gotta get back in reality. Okay.
Yeah, get back into the skinny Olympics. But sorry, I really keep cutting you off.
That's what we're here for. Are we ready to get down to brass tacks?
Yeah. So let's like just share maybe the overview of what we learned before the opening ceremonies yesterday.
Okay.
Which I have almost nothing to say in comparison. But
Okay. Yeah. So what really struck me when I was like doing research for this is how you can type in like anything conspiracy on YouTube and stuff is gonna come up. And for the Olympics, it was like there were scandal videos and things like that, but no one else has made a YouTube video to be like, the Olympics, what's it really doing? So that shocked me and frankly scared me. I'm scared that
well, because it means they're really hiding something.
Yeah. Or it means that like you and I just have the most beautiful, unique, brilliant brains in the biz, and no one else is thinking like us.
Yeah.
But I didn't find a conspiracy video, but I did find one about like the economics of the Olympics, which I unfortunately found really fascinating.
I'm so locked in.
So what I learned, I'm doing a book report now. What I learned from the video about the economics of the Olympics. Well, what I learned from that is that there is an entire career of like big sports event economics. Like that, there was like a guy who was like the sports events economics guy.
Mm-hmm.
And there's just so many things in this world that you can be. And yet I have to be this?
Mm-hmm.
Incredible. A guy wrote a whole book about hosting large-scale sports events and the economics of it. What do you
Nice.
mean? What?
Some people, and I mean this in the most loving way possible, some people can put energy towards things
What's
I could
that
not dream
like?
of putting energy toward.
No, I've never liked anything enough to write a whole book about it, except for when I was in the 7th grade and I began writing a novel about a young man named like Bernard Wellington III.
Okay, that's so East Coast of you.
And he was just like really in love with this like his like hot mess of a best friend neighbor girl who was always like hopping up on counters. That I was passionate about.
Of course.
So be looking for that on the shelves. Bernard Wellington III. Okay. So I was wondering like how they decided like who hosts the Olympics. And it used to be like a hot thing. Like you would like bid. So every country would bid to host the Olympics. And not every country, but like a bunch. And actually it's not the country, it's the city. So cities would bid until like 1984 and then nobody wanted to host. This was following some like scandals, I suppose. For example, in 1972, Israeli athletes were killed by terrorists. And so sort of having terrorism in your city happens all the time every day around us, but why would we want to focus on that?
And we'll just put a pin in that.
We'll put a
We're
pin
going
in
to be
that.
revisiting that.
Just the terrorism of existence. So after 1984, LA offered to host, but they were like, but only if we can do it for cheap. Because before that, did you know that they like built all the Olympic buildings for the Olympics?
Yes.
Isn't
Only
that
because... No, it's insane. I was gonna in Colorado Springs. There's a training facility that it's a field trip destination, so you learn so much about the Olympics if you live in Colorado.
Yes, because they also would say to countries like it's going to be a big tourist thing. It's going to be a big tourist thing. And actually what they found was that like while there would be like a minor uptick in tourism like right before the Olympics or something like that, that overall it has no effect. Like for example, they held the Olympics in Atlanta. I don't know anyone who's ever vacationed in Atlanta.
And
You
certainly not within the reasons of the Olympics. Well, and also, isn't it supposed to be like incredibly damaging to the infrastructure of the city because they're just like
Okay,
throwing people in there?
yes. So what I thought was really interesting from this, I'm going to call it a documentary. From this
It is.
documentary I watched was the year they hosted it, and I am looking at my notes because otherwise, you know what? No, I'm just going to make up the country. The year they hosted it in Brazil, which might be the country. I might be telling the truth for once. They held the Olympics in a place that was inaccessible via public transit, something like that. There was a transit issue. So they built transit that would benefit like literally just the games, but then that didn't open them up for tourism because people couldn't get from Rio to wherever the other place is. And so people were like, I'm not going to go to Rio if it's not accessible to like these beautiful other locations in this country.
Yeah.
And so instead of building infrastructure and public transit that would benefit them in the large scale, they could build it for just the Olympics because of this like because of why? What is it about like the Olympics that makes a city be like, I can spend millions of dollars to build a new stadium that we're going to use for 2 weeks? The Olympics are 2 weeks long.
It's so bananas. It's like prestige and something I'm going to be talking so much about, like insane competition that's so unneeded. Why are we competing at this level to host sports?
Especially like under the guise of unity.
And peace is their whole thing.
Especially, and this year's literal like theme is peace. Is that
The theme is peace, and I wrote this down yesterday because there was an Italian man, don't ask me who. There were two Italian men. One was like a government official, but the one who gave the opening remarks said, and I think we can all agree, sports is the universal language. That's horrifying because we all know it's music, second place math, also sex. Math just because it's numbers. I'm not proud of it. I don't like it.
Okay, let's put math in the Fat Olympics too.
No, God, no. Well, there would be some people who would really shine.
You know?
Fuck. Okay, it has to be.
But I'm gonna make you compete in math in the Fat Olympics because you said that it was the universal language.
I would be bad. But then also, the bids for the Olympic hosting cities are going on forever, and so far in advance, they're scheduled out through 2034.
Well, and that is because they were worried that people would stop bidding. So they were like, you guys wanted to all host it this one year, so you can host it next year, and you can host it next year, and you can host it next year. So that's like how they got them locked in. Okay, now, Lou, you are a big Survivor head.
Huge Survivor head.
Do you miss the days of Survivor being in different locations?
A little bit. One, because it has the same, pardon me, it has the same vibe as America's Next Top Model going different places where they're just doing like culturally insensitive things and being like, yes. And also those were, it overlaps with capitalism, which we'll touch on. Those were also the days of Applebee's sponsoring. And like Outback Steakhouse sponsoring, so they would like win a challenge and they get to go share a bloomin' onion as a reward in Africa. Just like in the desert of Africa, they'd be eating a bloomin' onion.
How'd they get it there?
Oh, it certainly wasn't from Outback. It was absolutely a man cooking an onion in the back of a van with a propane burner.
And that's beautiful. That's innovation. But what made me think of the Survivor of it all is that there is an argument being made to establish like a permanent residence of the Olympics. So like in Greece, because that's where they began, as we all know. As we all know, the Olympics started, it was just like a bunch of like gay guys wanting to wrestle each other in public.
Well, I have some stuff on that.
Thank God. Featuring America.
And Finland. Wait, or Greece? Whose flag is that? Finland.
It is Finland. There you go. The two genders, Finland and the USA.
Sorry. Finland's a good gender.
Finland is.
Yeah. Sorry. Get back in there.
I know. I'm like, where was I? Okay, so there's an argument being made for a more permanent residence.
Yeah.
Because you could, I get that, and I think that makes the most sense. I mean, ultimately, what makes the most sense to me is like, stop doing the Olympics.
Yeah.
I don't.
Why
I just
are we
don't,
still doing this shit?
I don't think it's solving anything. But
What was it about?
okay, I don't think it's real. Whatever. We love the Olympics in here. Cut that. So I do understand the need or desire for a more permanent location because that would have less of an economic impact on everything. Because then they just started building. So when LA said, we'll host the Olympics, they were like, but make it cheap. That's when they started making the buildings not permanent or using buildings that already existed, which is what I had previously thought always happened. But that wouldn't really make any sense because also like when they say they're gonna like when they were like gonna host it in Boston, I was like, where is their room in Boston?
Literally.
What are you talking about?
Yeah. There's nowhere to put it.
I don't even know like where they put Ilya's house in Heated Rivalry, that big giant house he lives in Boston.
There's no room.
Prove it. Show me.
Western Massachusetts somewhere.
Right? That's not Boston.
Not at all.
So
Those freaks.
Just saying that. And actually the Boston Olympics were canceled because of protests. And I thought that was cool that protests actually got something done for once.
For once.
I was like, wow.
And it's because they were probably protesting something so teeny-tiny. Which in the grand scheme of things, why? The Olympics is so teeny-tiny. But to the Olympics, it's not. To the Olympics is the Olympics, you know?
Exactly. I mean, and also to think that there's like a whole, Olympic hierarchy of the presidencies and Royal Olympic.
I spent a lot of time on the members page yesterday.
Okay.
The members of the IOC.
You knew the acronym.
Well, I learned it. You're so
smart.
Because I wanted to know the woman who was giving the keynote speaker or whatever the fuck. She's from Zimbabwe. Obviously a white woman representing Africa.
As God intended.
But so many of the IOC, which I think this is important did participate in the Olympics, because I was like, is this just some freaking corporate thing?
Right.
But a lot of people like have worked on Wall Street also.
I do think that to be in the IOC, you should have to have been an Olympian. The same way that I do think that if you're going to be president of the United States, you should have to have been a serving military member.
Agreed. Dude, wait. Do people know about that? Do people know about that hot take?
No, I just came up with it. I just decided it right now.
That could be revolutionary.
Well, I just think it's true. There is some queen somewhere, really well-informed podcasting.
Go off.
There is some queen somewhere who just joined her country's military. She's like in the reserves, but still, she was like, if you need me, bitch, I'm fighting. So that is something that I do think is cool-ish, unless you're representing the U.S., is that, like, you're doing it, like, for your country in a way that, like, could be very communal and community-based, and, like, but I don't think it is because of capitalism.
No.
But,
well, it absolutely could.
right. The potential.
Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy. Can I give my, like, 3 facts, and then we'll talk about yesterday?
And then we'll talk about yesterday. Oh, we're in the time machine. This wasn't actually yesterday. We're recording this on February 7th. So yesterday, February 6th, was the opening ceremonies of the 2026 Olympics, for the record. And please share your 3 facts, and then I'm chomping at the bit to get into yesterday.
Okay. So here's just, like, the gist of what I learned as far as, like, the origin of the Olympics, which is equally, like, justifying as far as conspiracies go, and, like, a nothing burger. The Olympics started in ancient Greece to appease Zeus.
Hello?
So sort of...
Think of the origin of it all.
So we are here appeasing gods.
That's just true. That's in
We just can't name
DNA.
the gods. Yeah. So the Olympics happened until Julius Caesar. And then he was like, no pagan rituals on my watch, motherfuckers. And so then the Olympics was canceled for a very, very long time, and eventually came back to Greece just sort of as like, oh man, we miss sports. Come on, can we do sports again? We promise it won't be for a god. It's just for us.
I gotta play. I gotta get on the field, boss.
Please. And I also wish, and I don't know about this, I hope that when gladiators happened, it was in the Olympics sometimes.
Well, because were gladiators happening under Julius Caesar? Yeah, right?
I think so, yeah.
So he was like, gladiators, cool, because they're not pagan.
Because they're appeasing me. They're not appeasing, like,
Right.
false gods.
Okay, I didn't know Julius Caesar's religious history. Was he like a Christian? When was Jesus born?
I think he was, because he's Rome. He was, like, at the beginning of Rome. I'm so sorry about how stupid I am.
No, you're absolutely correct. Everything that you say here in this room today on God is exactly the way that it is in reality.
Julius Caesar was Rome, which is, like, the beginning of Roman Catholicism, yeah. So, making, like, that sort of Catholic religion that we know today.
And love.
Started with that awesome man. As all things do, it starts with awesome man.
Say that again for the people in the back. Yeah.
Yeah.
Without men,
so,
where would we be?
Truly. And then I don't know, and kind of like weird how difficult it was for me to find this, and ultimately I didn't find it. I don't know when it started becoming like a global thing. But what I do know is that I think there was something in Paris in, I want to say, like 1902 or 1904, an even year, obviously. Which also, what does that mean? Numerology. Why are we having Olympics in even years only? Please.
I'm wondering that as well.
Okay, thank you. But I do know when the World's Fair happened in Missouri, there was a lot. It was I think it was the first American World's Fair. And in Missouri, no infrastructure. They built all this shit for the World's Fair. And then that was like coinciding with the Olympics. And there was a lot of debate on where the Olympics should be because there was no infrastructure. And basically, I feel that at that point it was global. There were people, like 1 or 2 people from random ass countries coming over on boats to do a run. Because I also don't know what events there were. It seems like it was mostly running. From what I found, people loved a marathon.
Imagine, like, taking weeks-long boat rides to go to a different country to run.
Well, also, imagine being a prized athlete from Africa, Black, coming to America in 1904 to just sort of show off.
Yeah. Cool.
Wonder how that went. Couldn't really find any information on how that went.
How that was received.
What I do know is the Olympics were so unserious because it was mostly running, and these men were like running, getting so sick, running through mud, running up hills, down hills. The courses were like, just like, get from point A to point B. We don't care how. It's gonna be mostly swamp. Figure that out. And like one of the winners, I don't know if he won one, but he was like top placing. He got tired on his trip, found a farm truck full of peaches, stole peaches, ate peaches, got arrested for eating the peaches, was released, then stole more fruit from the same truck later.
He's invited to the Fat Olympics.
And I was sort of like, he is invited to the Fat Olympics. But what the hell? Like, and that was the Olympics until it got serious in, like, what, the 50s? The 30s?
I don't know.
Was it a World War II thing? And that's really where things sort of fell off for me in the research world. There weren't, like, hard facts.
Right.
Anyway.
What and, like, how is that possible? Like, how is this thing that happens every 2 years, this big globally televised event, so shrouded in mystery?
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's suspicious to me.
Yeah, just
also,
super weird.
The World's Fair. Let's write that down because I have a lot to say about the World's Fair.
Same. And especially, I'm so sorry I ask you this every 5 minutes.
Please.
Have you seen The Prestige?
Okay. I do want it to be known that she literally does ask me this every 5 minutes. I have seen The Prestige in the way that I have been in the room while it has been on, and or I've watched parts of it, like back when you would scroll through the movie channels and pick something. I've seen parts of it that I have not sat down and given it the attention that it so clearly deserves based on how often you speak of it.
And also, if we ever do an episode on the World's Fair, we're going to need to be watching The Prestige first.
Okay, perfect. Well, I'll put it on the research docket. And don't say if, when we talk about the World's Fair.
Because I was going to say, I do think it's like an amazing parallel of the World's Fair being like, what can we do? And sort of how far can we push ourselves to do shit that we don't need? And that's the Olympics to me. Those are really the hard-hitting facts that I found when I did my research. And I do want to just thank all of the former BuzzFeed staff for making random-ass videos about anything.
That's so true. They really are doing God's work out here.
Yeah. The most informative video I watched was 3 BuzzFeed staff, and one of them was being a puppet.
Wow. I love the way the information
is a beautiful time.
Yeah, exactly. The way the information is disseminated onto the people. So we're sort of like a modern day town crier. Like, for example, hear ye, do you remember the events of the yesterdays?
Yes. And hear ye, I so do. Is it burned into my mind?
Yeah. Also, why is your town crier not British like mine? Also, why do I think all old-timey people were British?
Because of the way movies make everyone have a British accent.
Okay. Like especially like in Les Mis, why does that one little kid have such a thick British accent?
Oh, they're all British in Les Mis.
What is with that?
How do I do French? Yeah, hear ye.
That's exactly how you do French.
Mamma mia, hear ye. That's for the Italy of it all.
Of it all. Okay, so when Lou and I were thinking about this episode, it did not occur to me that it would be unfolding during the actual opening ceremonies and events. And I'm so glad that it did.
We're so lucky.
Because watching the opening ceremonies yesterday, I literally every 2 seconds was like,
I can't believe that there are people who could watch this and be like, there's no way that this is some sort of esoteric magical ritual. What do you mean? What do you mean? What do you mean that you can watch these Olympians walk through a big glowing circle portal into a spiral loop and then exit out the, like, what do you mean that you can watch that happen and be like, that seems like doesn't mean anything?
What do you mean there's a passing of the torch 7 days before the next passing of the torch? And what do you mean, sorry, got excited? What do you mean when the athletes put the flame into, and I don't know if I just wasn't paying attention as a child, this is the first time I feel like I've heard this, lit the cauldron.
Yeah, what?
Why did a pentagram light up?
Calling it a cauldron alone, and you're gonna be like, there's no way that this thing that started to appease gods has any sort of magical or otherworldly or, you know, higher power connections. It's just a fun time to get together and do sports because of unity.
And it's about tradition, and it's not about making sure the ritual is done exactly the same way every time.
Never. Anyway.
To me.
Yeah, in my notes here I wrote, since when are we calling it a cauldron? A cauldron, and you want me to think this isn't a magic ritual? Also, this is so true. Everything I'm about to say is so true. Is that, like, the opening ceremonies of past Olympics have predicted some kind of upcoming event. So there was an opening ceremonies in, I think it was China. I'm going to say it was China. An opening ceremonies at an Olympics in China predicted the pandemic because in their opening dance number bit, there was like a bunch of hospital beds. So people say that's connected. Mm-hmm. So what I'm thinking for this Olympics prediction has to have something to do with being deaf because of the way... No, hear me out.
No, I'm following.
Because, do you remember the part where that woman, I don't remember who she was, I missed that part, I was not listening.
That's okay.
The woman who got up and she was like tap, tap, tap on her microphone, and then her microphone didn't work?
Yes, she's a special Italian comedian.
Okay, and then she does the whole bit where she's like doing it with her hands. I don't know if that's Italian ASL. Well, it wouldn't be ISL or what. But it was not done to be like, we're pulling people in. It was like,
yeah.
And I also thought to myself, and she's a woman. So this is either telling us something about silencing women or that we're all going to go deaf.
Could be both. Also, the American commentator obviously she can't hear what he's saying, but he interrupted the ceremony, and I think he thought because there were no words, like it was free time for him to speak, and he was like, and it reminds me of my craziest coach when he was always so mad at me and using his hands to be mad at me.
Yeah.
It's so embarrassing to be American for so many reasons, but especially at the Olympics where other people are like good. To be like, ugh. Sorry, that not to take away from sort of predicting us all going deaf, because yeah.
There was one other moment that made me think that, I promise. I said, what is this, silencing women? Oh, but I'm sorry, before we talk about silencing women, let's talk about the dance.
Which one?
I want to say the first one with that Italian actress, the one that followed that clearly AI generated little video.
Crazy AI thing because also I don't know if this is in every Olympics thing, but boy oh boy were they like the timeline of the Olympics, and can I also say, talking about not being able to find like a clear starting point, neither did they.
Right?
They could not find a clear starting point.
Nope.
But they were working backwards, but then forwards.
Well, and that made me think of another thing of like of time travel, and whether the Olympics is something to do with creating portals for time travel to exist. Because and the way that the spiral and how it's cyclical, right? You go around and around, and so I'm like, is history going to be? Are they indicating that history is repeating itself in some way?
Okay, well, I would also say we have to go through every part, and I don't want to skip ahead, but when they brought out a real life astronaut, you were at dinner when they brought out when they brought out a real life astronaut to sort of act with this child actor, there was like a solar system, and they were moving all of the planets in whatever way they wanted, and the little girl like held Earth and was like, this is the only place sustainable for human life, like I care about her so much, and they were just moving the planets back and forth. And the sun is the same thing, as the same like structure as where they lit the cauldrons. It was the same pentagram.
Wake up,
shit.
People. Wake up.
Wake up. If you aren't watching the Olympic opening ceremonies and taking copious notes, you're part of the problem.
God, that's so scary. Okay, so a real life astronaut, if you believe in such a thing, came out.
If you think we've been to the moon or whatever.
Or whatever. Or if you think the moon is real. Okay. There was something I was going to say about flat earthers earlier. Flat earthers love to think. Well, they love to think, don't they?
Boy, howdy.
So just put a pin in. Oh, flat earthers love to talk about the World's Fair.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah.
God, I can't wait for our World's Fair episode.
I'm so excited. Oh my gosh. Okay. Speaking of skinny versus fat Olympics, I was just so amazed to see how, and maybe this is just true of like any group of people, like when you put a bunch of people together, they all just sort of look the same. But I was like, how do all these people, especially the women, like look the same?
Wait, I was thinking the same thing, and I was like, why are all of these women from allergy commercials? Like, there's like, people are all different, and I love to look at so many people. There's so many people I hate to look at. Mm-hmm. Hate to look at. But there is a type of woman where I'm like, I can tell you're make-believe.
Yes, that's what I wrote down too. I wrote that down too. So.
Yeah. So we're onto it. We're onto them.
Look out.
Everyone there has been in an Allegra commercial, or everyone there is fucking AI, much like the intro of the fracking games.
I really couldn't believe that. There was no attempt to make it look like it was anything other than created by AI, which I guess I can believe.
I guess so, but I also I feel like the Olympics is also about like coming together and innovation and the future. Like, I really think that our White Lotus girlie was supposed to represent the future more than representing 2026.
She was so scary.
She was so scary. God, we have so much to talk about. But to not even like sandwich it in an incredibly heavy-handed commercial for AI, to just say, here you go. And it wasn't even good AI. It wasn't even good AI.
Also, like, the concept.
They made it that morning.
It did seem like the concept that they fed to AI, like, that wasn't even good, you know?
We want the star of White Lotus to be skiing through the decades.
And.
Period.
Yeah, period. And then AI said, hold my beer. Like, what do you mean?
It was so bad.
It was.
And then to transition from AI into live people.
Spooky.
Hated
also,
it.
like, to transition from an AI-generated video of this woman skiing through the decades into an amateur local high school theater production of the Olympics through time, featuring this horrified...
It was a devised piece, for the record.
Oh my God, yes, it really was giving, this is my senior year of high school performance art school thesis. Mm-hmm. Where I've cast all my best friends, and it's okay that they don't really know how to dance. Because let me tell you who did not know how to dance, though, that lead. And so you could tell, this is my story. She was like, she burst into her auditorium and is like, Mr. Martin, I have an idea. And he was like, Clarissa, Larissa, tell us your idea. And she's like, I'm starring as. And then, like, she came up with this idea because she can't dance. And so she had to cast herself as the lead dancer because Mr. Martin wasn't going to do that on his own. He was going to cast Becky from 4th grade. Becky in 4th grade. Okay. We'll unpack that later. But, like, it just seemed because she was the weakest dancer out of all of them.
Well, it was like she started exhausted. To her credit, she was at certain points, she was one woman with the entire stadium floor to herself.
Yeah.
She was one 5-foot woman in a silver spandex suit with the entire stadium to herself.
Which is kind of beautiful. I mean, like, I would love the opportunity.
Well, that'll be a category at the Fat Olympics.
It's called commanding the space.
Yeah.
Oh my god. But okay, so do you think that her exhaustion was like her as the actress from White Lotus, whose name let's give her a name. What's her name?
I even have her name because I texted everyone I knew yesterday and said for some reason they really love the woman from White Lotus. Sabrina Impattatore.
Okay, so our girl Sabrina Impattatore, do you think that she herself was exhausted? Because I thought she was like portraying exhaustion, and the way that she, like, why does she look so scared the whole time?
So scared, marking everything, because to me I'm like, okay, she is this like performer, so the odds of her being actually exhausted are so slim.
Right.
I think by the end, fair. Heavy breathing musical style is
right.
Like
we
good.
Get it.
But what were they trying to tell us, and why was I so scared?
Well, exactly. What were they trying to tell us? But it can't be nothing. You can't show me a performance of a woman you cannot show me a performance of a woman looking visibly frightened and or tired, moving throughout time, constantly being pushed and pulled and lifted and carried and moved, and she has like no agency.
She had no control. Yeah.
You can't be like, what a fun way to start a bunch of wholesome games that exist just to sort of for the competition and the unity of it all.
Yeah. And also like the way that her skin was sparkly, the way of her costume, that before they put that big fuzzy coat on her looked like so bad. But then they also tried to do that like surprise reveal, but her coat was fully off before everyone went over and covered her with their snowboards. And then the reveal, but everything was just like off and weird and often weird.
It was like upsetting. It was,
yeah, I didn't feel good.
No, okay. And speaking of her sparkly skin and the metallics of it all, what do you think that, like, the significance of the chrome and the shine and the like, also like lycra of it all?
Right? Because even during the part, I don't know if you were at dinner at this point, where they brought in the flags of every country, everyone was dressed in silver snowsuits.
Yeah.
Yeah. My first theory, my less conspiratorial theory is it's Milan, they're being fashion, because also on the homepage, it was like learning about the performers, learning about the countries, learning about the fashion. And I don't know if that's been there every year, because I don't care. But I think they were really being like, it's Milan Fashion Week Olympic style. But it felt like I was watching Zoolander. Like, it was...
Yes.
All of these characters from Zoolander finally came together for the Olympics.
Seriously. Wow. Yeah, those big puffy coats that you love so much with those big black sunglasses covering... Also, so then, like, all of those women looked exactly the same. It was... So there's, just for the listeners at home, I'm staring into the eyes of a beautiful young man named Armis and the cat, and he's just curled up with Lou, and he's purring into the microphone in support of the message that you're receiving here today.
He hates the Olympics.
Well, it's because he can't get into the fat one either.
Well, he's so skinny.
He is. He's so skinny. It's funny to say skinny like it's a bad word. Well, she's kind of skinny.
Yeah. I'm so sorry, but I just became so charmed. I had to speak on it. Okay, so all of those women look exactly the same, and you can't see any of their features, and they're wearing big coats from Zoolander. Yes, that's true. I thought the big metallic silver coats were weird, and the sunglasses were weird and robotic, right? So I'm getting robot vibes. I think especially in tandem with that big AI piece that they served up, that when the rapper came out, do you have his name on record?
Yeah, hold on.
Okay. So even when they brought out Golly and his dancers all had like little silver makeup on them, which didn't strike me at first until like they were like a pile on top of each other, and then there was one standing and they zoomed in on that one, and I was like, okay, so robots are taking over the future is what you're telling me, because you're showing me like a big pile of people and then you're zooming in so that I can tell that that one looks like a robot. And so in tandem with the AI slop of it all, I was like, great, we're all gonna go deaf and robots are gonna win. Armisen, what do you think?
He's pro AI.
Ah!
He always is like, it's already here.
Ugh, so true. He's like,
Worst
get used to
argument
it.
there is. Yeah.
Yeah. That's the way it is. That's the way it is the worst argument for anything. That's just the way it is.
Sorry, it's already happening. Okay, so stop it.
Yeah, so
Actually. So quit.
knock it off.
Freaking knock it off.
Has anyone ever thought of just knocking on the White House door and going, knock it off?
Well, I do have this delusion of like, if someone would just sit down with me, I could tell them to stop.
Exactly. Just be like, hey, no. No's a full sentence. No.
Speaking of no is a full sentence.
Mm-hmm.
I'm mad.
Why?
I'm mad. Because 2 days before the Olympics, there was an official announcement to not boo JD Vance. Hey guys, can we make sure not to boo JD Vance? He's really not gonna like it.
I think
That's it's yesterday to me, conspiracy aside, because there's so much of that, was them saying, come on girl, give us nothing. Because the way they were like, this is about peace, this is about unity. Charlize Theron comes out, reads a Nelson Mandela quote about honoring every person with any social marker, with JD audience in the audience, JD Vance in the audience.
Hell yeah.
And then this is about peace. Golly said something like, no matter what, we can't have war. Charlize Theron was like, this is not just about like stopping conflict, but about like actively respecting everyone and working toward peace. They made a weird little dove on the ground.
Yeah, that was weird.
But also, Israel is allowed to compete in the Olympics. Some Russian Olympians aren't, some are. They talked about Ukraine so much, fair.
Yeah.
But they didn't talk about Palestine at all.
No.
Duh, like we knew. But
Right.
and just the way, also it's so freaky to me, the way America was cheered, the way Team USA was cheered on. There were boos, and there were boos for JD Vance. Not everyone was listening to the warning to not warn
also,
him,
like, what was
to not boo him.
Oh, there's a cardinal at my window. Sorry. What was the, like, don't boo him or else what?
Or else he's gonna get so mad, and you don't want to see what happens when he gets mad.
Oh my god. Wait, okay. JD Vance says Hulk, but when he hulks out, he just becomes that, like, meme image of him where his cheeks are all big. That's so funny.
I would love to see him Hulk out at the Olympics, that style.
That style. Hell yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. So it was just like, no matter what we do, we aren't going to talk about the fascism that's in the room with us.
Yeah.
But we are going to talk about peace in such a fucked up nothing way. And it was going to be the theme.
Yeah.
I love that. I love it being the theme. It's like, oh, the theme of this war is peace.
Well, and to say something along the lines of like, now more than ever.
Yeah.
But why? I can't tell
why?
you. You have to figure that out on your own.
What's happening now more than ever? So the whole thing does leave me with a feeling of immense dread, and and I love that. Okay, and all of this is to say that, do I know what the Olympics is trying to do? No. How would I ever know that?
Yeah.
But I know it's doing something. Like, there's just no way that all of these things combined don't mean something. That they don't connect.
Literally. Well, because here's the thing is that, like, it's the Olympics, so you could say that so much time and energy and detail and effort was put into it because it's the Olympics. Mm-hmm. But, like, I feel that so much energy was put toward the detail of, like, the plot and of, like, callbacks and of symbolism. Like, and that's not just for the Olympics.
Well, it's not. Well, it is for the Olympics in that the Olympics is a ritual that exists in order to appease some god or other
it's for
entity.
The Olympics, but it's not like for the Olympics.
Right. It's not like for sports. The universal language of sports. Yeah, it's for the Olympics. So, I do think that I've moved past the idea that it has something to do with aliens, unless you subscribe to the idea that, like, this planet and all of the suffering that happens here is food for an alien entity. So if you subscribe to that idea,
that one's not my idea.
Can you come up with a different idea?
My idea is more like aliens are watching us and they're like, "Jeez, guys," and we're like, "Yeah, we know." And eventually, when the Epstein files are all released and people reach a level of clarity they didn't know they could.
Can I say something controversial about the Epstein files?
Of course, dude.
I've never even thought that, like, what was going on that island could be related to aliens.
Oh, I don't think it's related to aliens.
Let's pretend you do.
Okay.
I've never thought of that.
And yes, and me, yeah. You start thinking that way, maybe.
Now I realize, and now I'm lost in the thoughts of how it could all be.
Well, and let me be clear. It certainly could be connected, but my leading theory is when, and it's just because I'm trying to be hopeful, when all of these powerful white fascist overlords have their souls revealed to the earth, aliens will be like, anyone who's still denying that, that's pretty fucked up. These guys, that's pretty fucked up. We're actually going to go ahead and save all the good guys and use the bad guys as fossil fuels for our, like, special tools that we're bringing with us here.
I love that idea.
That's my hopeful version. There's other versions.
Yeah, where they just go, cancel. They just press the big red button.
When they're like, we're just going to, yeah.
They sort of, or if you believe in
things are running their course again.
Well, and that, right? Are we living in Begonia becomes the question.
It's a pretty substantial theory.
Another thing we need to talk about is truth in plain sight. Okay? All right.
That's a 42 episode series. Seriously. Truth in plain sight. Oof. We'd go crazy for hours.
But I think between the two of us and this platform, we'll have the world all sorted out in, I want to say, 3 to 5 years. We'll be living in utopia. But I do. But
we're going to run for president.
Yeah, perfect. Okay.
2 presidents, though. We're a package deal. Duh. But think about how fun we'd make it. And here's the thing. We would just be, like, sort of, like, class president vibes, where it's like, we know who's going to get certain things done the right way. Mm-hmm. And so we're just going to be really good at allocating that. And then our top priority is going to be, like, having fun.
Right. Sort of like, what's the theme for prom going to be? And by the way, a mandatory prom is instated for everyone in the U.S.
Mandatory prom, but it comes with living wages.
So you
can buy a beautiful dress.
So.
Yeah. And so you can be your best for the dance floor. Dance circles would be an event at Fat Olympics.
Yes, dance circle. Yeah.
Oh, wait, I'm sorry. At Fat Olympics, I actually want the dance circle to be formed, and then the actual event is how long can you make it look like you're about to break dance.
A famous, amazing game.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, we'll be doing that.
I love that. Well, I'm really excited to get the Fat Olympics off the ground. I'm excited to solve all the world's problems with you.
Yeah, this is huge. We're on to a lot. I could have talked about this for 42 more hours, but we'd get too close to the truth.
And then we'll get,
well, this would be our first and only episode.
Right, we'll be sent out to pasture after that. And I'm open to being sent out to pasture if it's a really nice pasture.
And if there's livable wage at that pasture.
Yeah, sort of. If it's a place I can have a good time with my friends, I'll go.
I'll go to that pasture.
Yeah.
But you also have to share the truth with, like, a few other people.
Right. So in the interim, between now and when we solve all of the world's problems, do you have any closing thoughts that you would like to share about this year's Olympics, the Olympics as a whole? And I would also like for you to invent or speak on a greater entity that you believe that the Olympics could be serving and how.
Sure. For me, I am feeling that definitely we're trying to appease some entity. Bare minimum. I also, the one dance period session that you missed at dinner was sort of the solar system, but everyone was a disc. And the astronaut and the little girl were walking through all the discs that were spinning.
And I'm sorry.
And what was once inside was outside. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I just have to interrupt. Were those discs flat?
The discs were flat.
That's all I'll say on that.
All the discs were flat. I have literally, and I love to think outside of the box. I have no idea what it was trying to represent. I have no idea what it was trying to represent at all. I put my best thinking cap on. It said, what the hell? And then that was just the end. It just went from that to them passing the torch. Some of the people holding the torch, so deeply unhappy. There was this old man who was getting, like, big cheers. And he was, like, holding the torch with both hands.
Aww.
It seemed like it was 400 pounds. And he wasn't that old. He won some ski event in the 70s. Like, he was probably, like, 67 or something. But he was, like...
I'm sad to have missed that.
And he wouldn't make eye contact with the woman he handed it off to, which was also amazing. Was it because she's a woman? Is it because we're silencing women?
Exactly. Thank you for making that connection.
Of course. Yeah, I don't know. It's all big and weird. I already, even though I'm in, the biggest jock era of my life, I don't think sports should exist. I'm sort of like, hey guys, what if we put this much attention into your neighbors? Not to be fucking gay, but the amount that you care about which team is going to go to the Super Bowl or the Olympics, like, you should care that much about if your neighbors are eating.
Yeah.
Or getting kidnapped by the government.
And
should I say that here? I'm like...
No, hiding the microphone.
Sorry, no, I don't care if my neighbors are getting kidnapped. No.
No.
I care a lot.
And thank you for bringing up the Super Bowl, which in our timeline is tomorrow, and I'm sure too will be dripping with esoteric ritual and meaning, and all I have to say to that is it's a great reason to eat a hot dog. So.
Yeah, I'm making some stupid snacks.
Right.
And that's the whole thing for it, to eat snacks and watch Bad Bunny. Yeah, I don't know. I think that's pretty much it. We're living in hell, and the Olympics is, like, equally trying to ignore it and bring it up.
Yeah. It's
the number of commercials. Sorry.
No, you
unbelievable. Split screen with the commercial half being the bigger side. Just for the record, as someone who pays for an ad-free subscription to Peacock, I had so many commercials.
That was bonko.
I would rather watch athletes, like, slowly tying their shoes.
Yeah.
Than, like, in 90th Ozempic commercial. I don't care about GLP-1s. I'm creating the Fat Olympics.
Actually,
Fuck off.
We're against GLP-1s because we're pro Fat Olympics.
And that's the only reason.
Yeah, that's it.
What about you?
I think, well, I want to echo everything that you have said and put out there. And
I also just think it's so much more fun to look at the world around you and wonder about the meaning of things than it is to just like be like, that's the way it is.
It's literally the only reason to be alive in two very different but complementary ways of X-Files style, believe nothing, question everything.
Yes.
And also, I'm an 8-year-old trapped in a 30-year-old's body.
Right.
That cloud looks an awful lot like a UFO.
You know? And that's precisely it. So I think if you take away nothing else from this podcast today, it's trust nothing, question everyone, release your inhibitions, and have fun.
And tune in for the Fat Olympics happening only on odd years.
Yes. Oh, we didn't even get into the numerology. I mean,
well,
there's just so much that could be said about I'm gonna use the word esoteric again. Go back, listen to this podcast again, and drink every time I say esoteric. Don't ask me to define it though, because I will not be able to.
That's not part of the podcast.
That's me knowing the meaning of what I'm saying is not part of this podcast.
It's actually kind of the whole point of the podcast. We don't know.
Could be anything. What was I saying? It's none of my business now.
No.
If I was meant to know, I would remember.
Yeah. And we want you to remember to follow us on social media all over the place. We are Speculating Wildly Pod everywhere. We have a YouTube, we have an Instagram, we have a Patreon. You guys, I think we even have a freaking Blue Sky. I'm sure we haven't said anything there, but that doesn't mean we never will. We are so grateful that you listened to our very first episode. This is just the tip of the dumb iceberg. So we hope you enjoyed it, and keep tuning in on Thursdays to listen to us speculate wildly.